Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of You First. That's right. It's about you, and you. And I am your host, Shawanna Kennedy. I am super excited because right here in this place, in this space, we talk all things self-care, mental well-being, personal development, and empowerment. I often share the story about how life snuck up on me, but I guess I should say it didn't sneak up on me. I wasn't paying attention. So much so that because of doing things and trying to balance life, because you already know life be lifing, and life was lifing and trying to tell me, but I'm busy, right? I'm a mom, I'm married, right? I'm an entrepreneur, business owner, and was not paying attention to the things that was going on within me, on the inside of me. That led me down this self-care, mental well-being journey for better awareness in the things that I need to be paying attention to mentally, physically, and spiritually. In this space, in this place, along the journey, I was then led down the path to then share that with other people who I knew possibly was going through the same thing. I say it was before all things pandemic and the world shutting down, because I was doing this before that was a thing. It is the importance. And when you have the ear of other people and people lean and pull on us, right? You're probably one of those people that people pull on. And sometimes we don't have a place where we can kind of talk it out, right? But I want you to know that this is that place. And in this place, because we talk about mental health, because I'm definitely an advocate for mental health, we bring in experts. I'm freaking excited over here. I'm hippopotamus happy that I have a young lady. I have someone that is a professional that is in the house today that we're going to get into this amazing conversation. So if you bear with me, we will have who? Dr. Faith Brown right after this. Welcome, Dr. Faith Brown, a dynamic counseling psychologist, performance strategist, business mentor, and author. Dr. Brown is the founder of the Brown Wellness Group in New York City, addressing the mental health needs of physicians. Her notable works include her book, Burnout: The Gift, and establishing the Performance Academy to train medical students in leadership and professional resilience. Renowned for her role as a psychologist for the NBA PA in New York, and her extensive consulting work in the financial sector. Dr. Brown is an established speaker on topics like physicians' health, women empowerment, and workplace collaboration. Join us in welcoming Dr. Brown to You First, where her expertise promises to enlighten and inspire. Woo! Hello, welcome, Dr. Brown.
Hello, gorgeous. Oh my goodness. What an intro. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
You are so welcome. For some people who don't know, I love it. I love it. I love it when I did, because I looked back and we had the opportunity, of course, with someone we affectionately love. I've been with you before on a platform, but it's been almost 2 years. It's been a couple of years. So I have been having this type of conversation. And when I was getting ready to do the assets, as they call it, guys, in this world, to prepare for Dr. Brown's presence today, I said, what could I pull together? Because some of you don't know, yes, it is Kennedy Media that does all the graphics, all things graphics for the You First show. And I was pulling together pieces, and I found a few things that I did like. So you guys couldn't see her face in the green room, right? And so it's really, it does my heart good to see that. Yes.
Today you did your homework. You did your homework. Oh my goodness. I went, who is that? Who is that?
Right. It's amazing. And that's the thing when we think about self, we should occasionally, and I'm going to ask each of you too, to someone that you know, not just like, but that you love, and even a colleague, how do people see you? How do people see you, whether it's individually, whether it's personal or professional? What are people saying when they see you? When they go to pull things, right? Because we know we all have things out there about ourselves, because it's about you first. What is it that people can see about you? That's why I love the conversation that we're going to have today about trying to master the art of balancing, because I know that could be, it's really, we say balancing, but we know we have a professional in the house, and Dr. Faith is going to tell us that I guess in some cases it's really not about balancing. It's probably about more of harmony.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
Yeah, you see that she's already nodding. So first things up now, outside of the intro, what is something that we don't know about you?
I am an adjunct professor at a medical school. So I try to bookend what I do, taking care of physicians, attending physicians or senior, more seasoned physicians, and then trying to keep the youngins from getting into trouble. So trying to bookend them on both. Probably that I'm a daughter of the South and from a family of 5 girls. So the one thing that I know how to do is one, really be a sister, in all of its forms. And of course, with that comes this balancing act, right? I'm the middle of 5 girls. So that's about balancing those relationships and how do you get along? And, when one person wants to do one thing and another wants to do another, how do you balance all of that? So, I think that's quite apropos for the conversation upon which we're embarking today.
I don't believe I knew that piece about there being 5 girls, because I'm the second oldest of 5 girls.
So there we go. Yes.
Hello.
Have that in common. You feel that.
Yeah, really. I mean, that's crazy, right?
Yes.
But it's the truth. And
yes.
I'm excited because let's just get into it, because when you think about, because we know we have a mix of people, because it's all about you, whether you are mom, even if you're dad, it's all about the individual. But some of these individuals are not just managing a home, they're actually professionals.
Yes.
How do we begin to even understand what that balance act about, the prioritizing, the balancing? Because we know if you're mom, you have kids, but then there's you. And how can you help them with their you first? Because I call it their you first story.
Yes.
To where it's not a cliche, it's not a trend, it's not a fad. It should really be a part of a lifestyle of making you at the top. I always say it, and I'll say it again for the record: never above your creator, never above your creator. But there is even an order in how your creator, how God prefers us to live our life, so that we can have a life more abundant. So what would you say on that?
I'd say that the first thing to do is to know thyself. What is your value system? And what is your own personal vision and mission statement for yourself? The one thing that we leave out is oftentimes we are enter corporate America, and the first thing we do during orientation is we learn something about the company's vision and something about the company's mission, right? But what about our own? What vision do we have for ourselves? Have we really taken time to think about that? And secondly, what are the missions that are in place to support that vision? And then let's talk about our value system and then the creed that goes along with that, because that's the foundation upon which we build our lives. So once we begin having children or a family, we just bring those pieces together. So if we are family centered first, then that's a part of our value system. So as we then walk out of our homes into corporate America, then we know what we need to be at home, do at home first, because the value is family centered first, right? And then go into corporate America or doing our jobs. If in fact, though, we're more career centered and oriented, what model do we want to put in place for our family? Do we want our little girl, our daughters, or our sons to see, mommy walking out, balancing things at home? We may have to bring in help, but I want them to see that I'm growing. I want them to see that I'm a go-getter, or I'm going to get what I need. So know thy own self. What model do you want to establish in your home that will eventually become your legacy? So that starts with establishing your own value system, your own creed around that. What is the vision that you have for yourself? And what are the subsequent missions that are in place to support that vision?
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Does that make sense?
No, it makes total sense, because we often hear in different things, whether, especially if you are in business, you're correct. The first thing you say, what's the why? What's the why behind everything we do? And I don't think that too many people really take a look at what is that why for them, not just for business. What is it for them holistically as the individual? So could you perhaps right up and through there, lean in a little bit to possibly give them some type of a strategy, just real quick, just like, okay, if this is you and you're thinking, because you're thinking about everything else, you may even have a why a home, why the car, but what about as the individual, you looking full glass body in the mirror? What's that why?
Absolutely, because that's all ancillary. The car, the house, all those things are ancillary. Who am I? We're the nexus. We're in the middle. We're the hub. We're what makes everything spin, and we have to be clear about what that mission is. So if I decide that so let's start at the beginning. I want a business. Why do I want a business? Well, many people say I want to take better care of my family. Well, how do you reconcile a business better taking care of your family? What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Because if you're building a business just from a 10,000 foot view, you're not going to be present for a family. You're just not. So how do you then, how do you join the divide, right? How do you cross the divide between the two? What does that mean? Perhaps better stated would be not, I want a business so that I can take care of my family. Maybe it is two different statements. I want to take care of my family and get clear about that. And I want a business. Okay. Now, how do I manage the two? Because what becomes important is the priority is I want to send little Jennifer to school. I want to make sure that I retire, that retirement savings are in place. I want to make sure that there is no struggle. So now we're talking about systems, right? What kind of system needs to be in place to make sure that little Jennifer goes to school? That sounds like I need maybe a college fund somewhere, right? What do I do to make sure that I retire? That means like maybe I need a 401k or I need an annuity or an IRA. So now we've just jumped, we've made a leap to try to bridge this divide. So is it really a company? Or is it that I need some assets in place to make sure this happens? So being clear, because we can get the two kind of confused. One can indeed support the other, but not necessarily. If the goal is to be present, I want to be present. If that's the goal, then we need to figure out, because is being present a value system? Yes. Who do I want to be present for? Is that for myself or for everyone else? Well, I want to take care of everyone else. Well, in order to take care of everyone else, I need to take care of myself, right? I need to model what self-care looks like. Little Jennifer is going to learn something about how to self-soothe, that mommy is not always available. Mommy is available sometimes, but sometimes you're going to have to let little Jennifer understand that there are times when mommy is available and she's not, because little Jennifer needs to also learn how to become a little independent, right? Because otherwise we are breeding codependency, and that's not what we want. We don't want to put that into society, right? And then we want to make sure that if we're going to be there for everyone else, what does it mean to take care of myself? So the time that I do have to myself, what does that mean? And am I putting that to good use? Something that's going to nurture my spirit or set my soul on fire? Because only when my heart is full and that is bubbling over and that cup is running over, am I going to have sufficient resources to take care of everyone else? Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, it makes perfect sense. And because I do have a school ager, I still have a school ager, and I get everything that you're saying. I get it, because when we do the work that we do, it's not that she doesn't even see it. It's not that she doesn't even understand the importance, because we've had the conversations, and children will make you laugh when they tell you some own stuff back to you, when they get back to you.
Absolutely.
But it's because they still have their wants. It's not even necessarily a need. Other people want things from you. And when I think about that, is then how can we help someone that believes or don't even really understand what is really important and what is like urgent? Because some people think stuff that they want that's urgent, they make it important, but it's not necessarily important,
right?
Just urgent for them. How can we help them with that?
Well, I think it starts with, if we're talking about intra-family, let's talk about something inside the family, then we'll get to outside the family. I think we start initially with teaching. We have to start from the cradle. We have to start from the cradle, unfortunately. And I want to get to the teenagers. But how do we lean into a baby's needs? Right? Like initially when a baby comes here, we know they need to be fed. We know they need to be diapered, right? But then we will sometimes take it up on ourselves to overly compensate. Honey, do you need anything? What's wrong? What's going on? When in fact, there's nothing going on. But we're teaching that brain, oh, mommy is always here. Mommy is always here. And I just have to say, I want, I want, I want. We've taught that to them. They didn't just pick it up. We taught it to them, right? So at some point we have to learn that, or teach them, and I think we have to learn ourselves, that we don't have to be ever present that way. We're present, we're there to meet their needs, but we're not necessarily there to meet their wants in an urgent way. Mm-hmm. So teaching them, like, no. Here are some things you can do for yourself. You don't need mommy for this, right? But here are things for which I will be present for. That comes with making sure that in all those moments, when we are at work, we're fully present. And when we're home, that we're fully present to explain those things, to experience those things with them. And as a matter of fact, depending on the age of the child, it's important sometimes to bring the child along with us in the workspace to say, I want you to just understand fully what mommy does. So when I say this, you'll know exactly what's going on, right? And then we will get to whatever your needs are. If it's urgent, if it's urgent, mommy is going to always be there. But sometimes there are times when I can't be, and we will get to it. Your needs are not going to go unmet. So we do have to teach children that there are some things that are urgent, and there are some things that are maybe a priority to them that the sky is not going to fall if it doesn't happen right now. And that's the litmus test for us adults as well as the children. If this doesn't happen right now, is the sky going to fall?
Yeah, but now
the sky is not going to fall.
But the sky, we believe the sky is falling. What are you talking about? Yes, the sky is falling.
So tell me about it. So tell me about it. And that would be my next question.
Right.
Tell me about your sky falling.
Tell you about the sky falling, because then it's all the things. It's all the things, because you're right. They're doing it with the little ones, and then we have to retrain. Right. We have to retrain, because I could speak for me having adult children as well as a minor, there's a big difference. The way that I raised them versus how me being able to be more present with my youngest. I've been more present with my youngest, being able to have a home office with my youngest. That means she hear me. If she was home, if she was close by now, she would hear this conversation. And those are some of the things that it's like the sky is falling when you know that I am still just across the room or on the other side of the wall. And how do we help those, especially for people who may not work at home? What about the parents that really do come and go, but then you said it, they're overcompensation.
Yeah.
What does that do to self? When we think about the overcompensation of whether it's your children, whether it's your spouse, because some people, if they're being honest, right? If they're being honest, they've said it. They believe that their spouses are like another child. But we already know that whole another episode for another day, and the whole dynamic of setting that up that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And let me ask you, and you're, that situation is not unlike many in America, where we have like older adults and then we have, a little one at home, a minor at home, right? So the question becomes, although we're fully present, are we equally disciplined?
That's good.
So the discipline that we had with the older adults, did we exercise that same level of discipline with this little one? Or because we were in a different financial status, a different economic bracket, or we could breathe a little bit, did we then just kind of like go, oh, it's okay if little Sally jumps up and down on the couch? We let her get away with things we would never let the older ones get away with, right? So while we're fully present, were we also equally disciplined in all areas?
Love that. You hearing that, equally disciplined, because of what I have discovered in being a mom, and even if they were equally disciplined, it's sometimes I'm still different with each child, and each child is different. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So there's that piece, because I say my youngest get the best of me because of the season of my life that I am in.
Right. That's right. That's right. Let me give you an example, and many of your audience members will disagree with me. So get ready for these letters, okay? And it's okay. There was a time, and I'm about to date myself, but seasons in our lives, right? There was a time when parents made breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And they made breakfast, and breakfast was whatever breakfast was. And if there were 5 kids, all 5 kids ate the same breakfast. Or you didn't eat, but you ate the same breakfast. Breakfast was there. Fast forward, we're now at a time when we ask, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And we have 5 different breakfasts, 5 different choices for these little ones. So now we had parents who says, here is breakfast, kids, who probably had as many things going on as we do today. But they decided, here's a nutritious breakfast. And it's nutritious and it's healthy, and all the kids are going to eat. They're going to go to school. Their brains are going to be fed and they can learn. We put it on ourselves, the overcompensation. Let me cater to each child. Why did we do that? Because then we just brought a burden on ourselves that we didn't have to take on. Well, each child has their own taste. How did the child, how? We started that from the cradle. We did not have substitute for peas as kids. If we started out as a baby eating peas, right? The baby food was peas. And then at 2 years old, you were eating peas, right? Because that's what was served. And so we grew up eating vegetables. Well, now we get, oh, little Sarah doesn't like peas. Well, where'd she get that from? So we bring a lot of this stuff. We have to stop. We have to stop and ask ourselves, what do we want to create in this moment? What kind of people do we want to put out into the world? Because when they leave my house, they're going out into the world. And what kind of people are we creating? What kind of members of society are we putting out there? Those who are going to be equally picky, where nothing satisfies them, right? Or they're going to find something wrong and then they're going to duplicate what they've learned. So just stop. For the audience, just stop, ring this in. Let's ring it in and go, who am I? And what do I want to create in my family as well as in my business? It goes back to our vision, our value system, our missions, and our creed for ourselves. That's the foundation for this whole thing. And then we don't have to worry about being all things to all people. I have to be true to what works for me. That's the harmony. What works for me? What's going to help me get in bed at 10 o'clock so that I can get up at 4 or 5 to go work out, to take care of myself, so that I'll be ready to pour into other people later on? What works for me?
I love that. Now she's asking the question, and that's what we have to say to ourselves in this space. And if you so happen to be watching this with one of your children, it's still at this moment, this is the place, this is the show that is all about you.
Yes.
And it's how we are showing up for ourselves that I say everybody else benefits from how we live and choose, like she said, what's the why as an individual that affects everything else that we do. So it's just amazing how, time just be moving. And I would love, because of course I have a dozen other questions, but I want you right now to even help an individual and make it all about them. It's all about them and how to help them tell their you first story. I need you to help them to how can they go about moving from this space right now?
Yes.
Telling their you first story.
Well, the first thing you do is think about, right? And that is mind, body, spirit. This whole thing has to be aligned. So if that is our North Star, that this is mind, body, spirit, this vertical relationship has to be in place before any of these horizontal relationships can ever work. Okay. So you start by saying, you know what? I have great gratitude for everything that God has given me. And it is up to me to be a good steward over everything. Right? I have huge compassion, huge love. I have forgiveness. I have empathy. I have all of that in my heart, but I'm only one person. All of that is wrapped up in this one person. And in order for me to be that person and step into the world, to be the best mom I can be, the best wife I can be, the best sister I can be, I have to take care of me. I have to have those needs met. So here is what mom is going to do when I'm home. This is what I have to do. This is my time. I need this time for me. And once that's done, you have my attention. It's all about you. I can be fully present for you because I've been fully present for myself. And believe it or not, setting that standard or that marker is what's going to help the child also begin to establish boundaries as well. As he or she grows, he or she is going to begin to understand that the time that he or she has for themselves, either in health, in self-care, taking care of themselves, that will give them the bandwidth they need to do their homework, right? And then to go outside and play and to be the best friend to their friend group as they can. They will begin to model that behavior. So what you're doing is setting a model for how we show up in the world. And it's not a difficult conversation. It just may be a little hard because little ones don't understand. But as we begin, the more we do that, practice it and have them honor it, right? Because inevitably they're going to come in and say, Mom, but you in a very nice way will have to just gently say, this is mommy's time. I'm going to be with you. And you guys should have either a safe word or an emergency word. So if the sky is really falling, and you're in mommy time, that once they say that word, you understand that it's an emergency. But barring an emergency, this is mommy's time. Okay. So I hope that helps you. I hope that that gives you a place to start. Yes. and that once we begin to put that model into the world, then we know that we're creating other independent contributing members of society.
I love it. This has been amazing. You guys already know, yes, I'm going to be beating her door down so we can extend this conversation.
Sure.
This has been really helpful because we really do. And it's not just the once a year. These are things we need to constantly keep at the forefront. I'm a big proponent of even the 5 W's. Of course, the first one being, with who is all of this for? The who in all of this is you. It is you. Yes. It's about you. And so I appreciate you so much, Dr. Faith.
Thank you so much.
Stopping by you first. And you have helped give us something else, some other things to think about to just strengthen us along this journey, along our You First journey, along this journey of self-discovery, of being better for ourselves so that we can go out and continue to impact the world.
Better for ourselves is right. And I'm going to ask your audience to do themselves, to take the time to do the homework. Figure out the value system, write it down. Figure out your creed, write it down. Figure out your vision. What is the vision for yourself, right? And then write down the missions that support that and work from that template. If it doesn't fit, if it doesn't fit the mission or the vision, that's something that you don't need to deal with at all. It's not a part of the vision. It is. We don't even think about it. It's not a part of the vision. So once we define that, we have a boundary. We have a template to work, a model to work within. And that relieves some of this pressure from going, all over the place and feeling like we have to be all things to all people at the time they want us to be, because it's not so important. It doesn't quite fit the vision. So I hope that helps. I'm so glad to be a part of this conversation with you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
I appreciate it. Dr. Faith, don't you go anyplace. I'll be right back with you. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the You First conversation today. Don't you just love Dr. Faith? Think about the things that she said. If you know me, it's all about even the 5 W's. And a part of that is doing your self-work. What is the who? The who is you. Sometimes we make other people our who. No, it's not always about them. Yes, they're important. Yes, they are. They are very important. And they're a large part of the reason why we do what we do. But at the end of the day, it's about you and what is your call? What's your assignment in life, right? What is on you? What's that calling? I want you to do something today that your future self will thank you for, and that's being a better you. I appreciate you for being a part of today's show. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, and I am here for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on another episode of What? You First. Bye for now.